Gonna work. All right, we are live. We are live, and we are on time.
There we are.
Just because we wanted to throw the biggest Allen curveball of all time and be exactly on time.
Yeah. There's people who haven't even showed up yet because they're waiting. They're
people there. No one will be in the chat for a good while. Probably. No, there's people out there already. There's a lot of folks and friends out there. Number one, Alan, thank you so much for doing this. The first question I asked you is you are in the Panhandle, but you're out of the line of fire. You're on Florida in the Panhandle, out of the line of fire. Our hearts go out to everybody that is not that in that situation.
Oh yeah.
So, we hope for the best for everyon there.
John, I like your setup. Like,
do you?
Your desk and your little skull and that.
It's for spooky season.
What's on the left?
This is like if I'm reading a book and I want to hold my place, I can throw that on there.
Is that Augustus by John Williams?
Yeah, I was gonna pull this out.
I know that cover,
and I've got that to pull because these are quickly to come up in my hands and get read. And I was wanting to tell you what do I have to look forward to? Should we just start?
First of all, how did you get a copy of that?
Okay.
Of Long Spice Quartet?
Because the wizard, Andrew, knew I was looking for one. He said, I saw this on Pango. Go buy it right now. It's for $20. You'll never find it for $20 again. So I bought it off of Pango.
No, those I got mine. That's how I got mine. And then once people started, I started telling people to read it, people could not find that edition. Like, they couldn't find that edition anymore.
So it's because of you, Alan.
I mean, it could just be coincidence. It's not, correlation doesn't equal causation, but it was conveniently timed. Who's hollering the thing? But yes, Augustus Long Spice Quartet pleases me greatly.
Okay, what am I in for? Let me just say hello to a couple folks here in the chat that are here because let me tell you, Evie actually sent me Augustus. She was
nice.
A lovely human being, and she sent me a couple books, and she sent me this one. So,
have you read any John Williams?
I have not. I have not read any John Williams, so I'm about to fix that. Derry is here. Zach is here. Samwise is here.
What's up, Sam?
Actually, I don't think this has ever happened before, but my wife is here.
Is that your wife?
That's the kind of pull you have, Alan. You got my wife to show up.
Your wife doesn't watch her videos?
Oh my wife's not a fan of what I do. Let me tell you right away. She doesn't care for this. She doesn't. No, I'm kidding. But she's not a big fan. Let's see. Ralph. That thing called Mitch.
Mitch, I do have power. Mitch.
Oh, the doctor is in the house.
Yes, Dr. Philip Chase.
Christine on time.
Nice. I know it's on time. That's right, guys.
Ryan is here. Marianne is here. Peter is here. Man, we got lots of folks.
Nice.
Anita is here. Eric is here. Pete is here.
Yeah, Anita was late because she literally expected it to start later. Hilarious, Anita.
Brian is here. Hello, everyone in the chat. Let's see. Tall Aaron is here. Zaylee Green is here. Matt is here. Man, we got tons of folks here, Alan. You are amazing. And let me just say, Shelf Esteem is here as well. So what do I have to look forward to? Tell me what I have to look forward to. I'm going in almost completely blind. I know next to nothing about either one. I mean, I've heard this is a kind of a slow burn character journey that goes through an entire person's life. That's all I know.
Yeah, for sure. So Augustus is, first of all, John Williams is something else, just the way that he writes. But it is about the Emperor Augustus. And the first third or so is about his rise to power, but the whole thing is told through letters. It's epistolary format, the whole thing.
Okay.
Do you know anything about ancient Rome?
I mean, I know what I know from watching Derek Jacobi do I Claudius. I'm not.
Nice.
I'm not you, Al. I'm a theater nerd, so I know what Derek Jacobi brings to the table.
Yeah, this is pre-Claudius. Well, I mean, it's not that hard to follow. The first third is the most difficult to follow, just because there are a lot of names, and it's Augustus' rise to power. But the last 2/3 are about what happens once he's in power, and it is. And I just said all this literally on my TBR video that is theoretically going to come out tomorrow if I edit it, because I've talked about Augustus. But it is, I mean, it's a book about like it's so much more than the Roman Empire. It's about like friendship and the power of art to like change the world and minds. It's about the price of duty and the cost of loyalty and the cost of being in power and absolute utter loneliness, like the loneliness that one has when you are like have that kind of power, because you can't trust anybody. And it is just, oh man, the stuff it says about family and just society and the human condition is, I mean, it's excellent. Like, it is a book that was written for me because of my interests and the fact that John Williams is wonderful. And I'm not going to have time this month because it took me forever to read my first book, but I have it if I was going to, if I had time, I was going to reread it. I've read it twice now. So I was going to reread it because it's just so good. It's so good.
It's a National Book Award winner, says right there.
It's tremendous. It's tremendous.
I mean, they don't get those out like Pez.
Yeah, no,
I can't wait.
It's so good. And Long Price Quartet is, man, it was one of the first series I read that I'd never heard of, and it just sounded cool, I guess. Yeah. And there's some words in there that are weird, like, and what people don't like about it is like they speak like through gestures a lot, and so they'll take a pose of whatever, and some people find that annoying. Those people are wrong. Yeah. But really, it is. I have never read a series more than Long Price Quartet that benefits from having read the whole series. Like, every book is elevated by the entire series. Like, the books are good individually, but when the whole thing is done and you see the through line that Abraham has weaved or woven through these 4 books, I've never seen anything like it. It is still one of my favorite series because it charts this relationship between these two friends over 60 years. And it, like, we don't get a ton of that in fantasy.
No, you don't.
The way Abraham writes human beings, like their reactions, they do not do things that I want them to do. They don't ever behave how I want them to behave, but they behave exactly as I know people that I know would behave. Like, they just do. They are so human, and it is. I mean, it's just heart wrenching. Like, I don't know. It's wonderful, and no one will read it because it's something I suggested. Even though, like they'll DNF partway through Shadow and Summer. Oh, but they'll give Rhythm of War 400 pages of garbage to get to the good stuff. Never mind that book, Shadow and Summer, ain't even 400 pages. Like, that entire book, that entire series is shorter than Oathbringer.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
No doubt. I just read Oathbringer. I can attest to that. That's probably definitely shorter than Oathbringer.
I know.
I dug Oathbringer because I love Dalinar, but we're going to break this up. I'm going to read this with Josh from Red Fury Books, and I think we're going to break it up over like 4 months or something like that. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. So
I foolishly left 6 months between. I read books 1 and 2, and then I left 6 months between 3 and 4. Don't do that. That's foolish.
No, I think we'll do like 1 a month because, like you say, if you break it into quarters, that's not bad at all.
No, they're very short. They're very short.
So hey, man, talking about humans and how they behave and family, I got to hit you up. I got to talk to you immediately about being a new dad. Like, look. I got to tell you right now, I've been watching your channel for so long, and I've enjoyed it so much because I've waited my whole life to get to like an age where I can turn the editor off that's in my head that connects to my mouth, and I can just start to say stuff, and people will just look at me and go, hey, he's old, let it go, just let it go, he's old.
No, it's autism. It's a superpower.
But you're so unfiltered and passionate, and it just comes out of you in such an amazing, genuine way, and it's like, fatherhood is such an important part to both of us. I think performance in theater is such an important part to both of us. Story is such an important part to both. It's like I can't wait to get into so many things. So I can't wait to get into. Let's start with family. Like you are a new dad. Like what has that done to your entire worldview? Your entire like what is going on? Like have you? I remember when I first brought my kid home and we put him on the bed and we looked down and it's like someone's gonna have to. His parents are gonna have to show up, right? Like they just let us walk out of the hospital with this thing.
I thought
Are they
that same thing.
insane?
Like we have to keep it. Like we don't have to give it back.
Exactly. What? So have you gotten past that a little bit?
Hold on, Kyle. Am I the evil side of the coin? Kyle, I thought we had Kyle. I literally thought we had turned a corner here. Oh, Kyle. Oh, Kyle.
Oh, Alan and John are like the good and evil side. Look, in a minute, maybe we'll both have a rant at the same time, and we can start we'll start this complete vortex and stop all these hurricanes. That's my hope.
Sure. I have lost the will to live. That's what fatherhood has done with me. I have lost the desire to carry on, and I am a husk of a human. I am merely animated flesh with no soul left, because that is what fatherhood has done. Because babies are like, everyone who talks about fatherhood or parenthood is a dirty liar. Because they have to be. If they told the truth, no one would have children. None. Because babies they're the worst. Like, he's just so unpleasant. But at the same time,
you love the crap out of him, though.
Of course, look, he's adorable, and I love my boy. But man, on Monday, I have to go home and I'm teaching morons for 12 hours a day, and then I come home and I have to grab the baby from his parents, because I was lied to and thought we had 3 sets of parents to help with him. But no, both of my sets of parents, my mom has been injured almost since he's been born. And then my stepmom has been sick almost since he's been born. So we really just have one set of parents. So the problem is we lean on them too much already. So I don't want to be a burden. So I come home as soon as possible. I grab him, and then I'm by myself in my house till Christina comes home. And it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And it is the worst time of day. He is tired. He is grouchy. And it's okay if I can just get like 20 minutes of him not being unpleasant, I can make it through the thing. But when I come in and the second I enter the house, he decides to be unpleasant, it destroys any kind of emotional bandwidth or margin that I have. And he did that Monday. When he does that on Monday, I don't have enough battery to get through the rest of the week at school and then this. And so it's just, but he is wonderful during the day. Like during the day, he's wonderful. And he's wonderful out and about because he's so curious. Like, I think he's just bored here. Like, he doesn't ever pitch a fit when we're in public. And in the car, he slept the whole dang time when we drove down to Orlando. And he sleeps through the night. So, I mean, I'll take it. But at home, he does not want to be here.
Well, how old is he and he sleeps through the night? Because that's amazing.
He's been sleeping through the night since he was 3 months, which is...
Oh, man, that's awesome, dude.
We are very fortunate.
You are extremely lucky. I think Jacob kind of did the same thing. We got him to where he slept through the night pretty quick. But that first night, right, you wake up the next morning, and because you're so sleep deprived, you sleep through the night too. And you wake up that next morning and you're like, oh my God, what? How in the world? Like, you run down the hall or wherever and you're totally freaked out.
Yeah, so I still do that.
Yeah. Were you like me? Okay, and I know the PC answer is like just as long as it's healthy. But were you hoping for a boy? Were you hoping for a girl? Did you have a hope?
Oh no! Get out of here with my patrons. Christine and I sent away for the gender test, and I opened it with my patrons on a live stream, and every one of them saw how disappointed I was when I saw it was a boy. I did not want a boy. The same.
Like, look, I mean, okay. My whole thing was like fathers and sons, that's a lot of weight. Like if it's a girl, I could just spoil the crap out of a girl and she can be daddy's, and it's like, daddy's little angel, daddy's little girl. If it's a boy, like that's a lot of weight to carry on my part,
Literally, my words were, what am I going to do with a boy? Like, I live in the South, and you're in the South also.
Well, I grew up in Texas, so I'm
there you go.
well aware of the Southern.
Sure. So there's a certain kind of there's a certain way that Southern people consider that guys do. There's a certain like template for Southern masculinity and guys, and I don't fit any. I don't like the outdoors. I don't like fishing. I don't like college sports. Oh my gosh, I not like college sports. I don't play sports. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't care. I don't own a truck, nor do I have a beard. So it's just like, what am I going to do?
What kind of example will you be, Alan?
Seriously, he's going to be like, Dad, you want to play catch? I'll be like, you can call your Uncle Ryan. I don't know what to do. So
I got Uncle Ryan on speed dial. I'll get him for you.
Seriously. So and really, realistically, and I talked to my wife about this. I did not enjoy being a male who was not into stereotypical Southern male stuff, and I feel bad. I feel for my son, because if he is also like me, he too will have to deal with people's bull crap just because, he doesn't like this. And so I feel bad for him. But girls, there's no such thing, like whatever, like not expecting anything from girls. So, so that's really why. But I mean, I can't imagine him being any different than he is now. But I was hoping for a girl. And I think Christina was too, low key. Yeah.
According to Samantha, you are the sophisticated Southern gentleman.
100%. I am absolutely sophisticated.
I don't think the times are. There you go, man. You're ready. When I grew up, so much of what you're saying completely resonates with me. And it's not when Jacob grew up, it wasn't the same. Like there didn't seem to be. And he went to high school. He grew up in Texas. We moved here and he went to college here. But he spent all of his young school career there in Texas. And I mean, he found a group, and he was a great indoorsman, and he was like an artsy kid, wanted to direct film, and he did okay, he did all right.
Yeah.
And he became like this, he's my best friend in the world. Like I wouldn't have this channel without him. He built all this. Like he just, let me do this for you. I would have none of this. I wouldn't have met any of these people.
He built your studio and everything?
He built everything. Dude, he just moved out not long ago, and he was panicked that I wouldn't know how to turn the camera on and stuff. Like none of this would exist without him. He's all of this is him.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's the same for Atticus. It will also help because my dad is the quintessential outdoorsman. Like he just is. My dad's a wonderful man, but he is born and raised in the South. That is what my dad does. His degree is in forestry. He's in the timber business.
Wow.
He, likes Auburn and likes hunting. He,
Auburn. He checks all the boxes.
Yes, he would always show me like, "Hey, look at this rattlesnake I shot in the head." And I'm like, "Okay, thanks for showing me the snake you shot in the head."
Oh my God, you'll love this story. I heard stories about my grandfather pulling the antenna off the car to beat a rattlesnake to death he saw on the road. So that you can't get more Southern dude than that.
My dad, so I grew up with this stuffed barn owl on my bookshelf in my room, and I was just like, why is there a barn owl? I thought it was fake, and then later I realized it was real, and then later I realized that it's totally illegal to have taxidermied, just have stuffed barn owls. Or maybe it's not a barn owl, maybe it's a different kind of owl, but you're not allowed to have it. And so I remembered that in class one day, and I was teaching my kids, and I was talking to my dad, and I remembered that, and I called my dad in the class and put him on speaker and said, "Dad, do you remember that freaking owl?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" He's like, "Well, I was coming home one night from something in college, and I saw some truck hit it or something. I saw it in the road, so I picked it up." And I'm like, "You took it home?"
Like you do, Alan. Yeah.
So I'm like, "So hold on, you stuffed it?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." I'm like, "How did you know how to do that?" He's like, "Well, how hard can it be?" Who are you, you crazy, crazy woodsman? So just stuffed an owl himself, and you don't understand him.
You know why? Because it was a Thursday. My dad was the same. Like for all these, I couldn't all these years. My dad would not have a bed. He would sleep on the floor. Why would you? You know why? Why do you need that? This is totally. It's flat. It's good. It's good for my back. I don't need that stuff. He would rather sleep outside than sleep inside. Like, yeah, no, it's
Texas.
yes, 100. Yeah. Oh, we go. Our roots are deep, deep, deep. Yeah. At one time, my grandfather ran all of Getty's wells in the southwest of the country.
Oh wow, where?
So
in
that's
Texas
how San Antonio.
Gotcha.
So that's how deep deep Texas roots. Yeah. So when
my parents just moved. My mom and stepdad just moved here to be near my brother's kids, and then
Atticus, yeah.
They moved from Texas. My mom had worked in Texas for 20 years. She worked in
What part?
Austin for Dell, and then my stepdad has been in Dallas forever. He's from New Hampshire, but he's lived in Dallas forever.
It is so crazy crowded and so hot there now. It's unlivable. I think I'm so much happier with Four Seasons, and the move was. I love Texas. My roots are there, but I mean I'm so much happier here with the Four Seasons and everything. It's really great.
Yeah,
so
I
if
like
you had
Texas, but
oh yeah, it's a great place. It's a fun. There's some great fun cities to visit, no doubt. So hey, if you like your dad was the woodsman and this kind of thing. Like when did story start to when did you start going? This is for me. Story is my jam, man. This is it. Like when did that?
My
hit?
mother's mom, my grandma, was a third grade teacher.
Yeah.
And she always read to us. And I learned how to tie my shoes when I was in the second grade. I was the last one to learn how to tie my shoes, but I learned to read when I was 3.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
Because
your grandmother.
Yeah. So I've been reading forever. Dinosaur books. Like I've read dinosaur books. Like I'm a stupid baby. I can't read anything else, but I can point and be like, that's a Saltopithecus. And it's like, no one even know. I don't even know what a Saltopithecus is anymore. But
yeah, but you did then.
Yeah. So she was just big into education. Like she took us to dinosaur museums like all the time. We read all the time. Went to the library all the time. And then my mom bought us a Sega, a Genesis, and in the Genesis is when I started playing JRPGs. And again, super young, but these were games that had tons of reading and tons of story.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
In 5th grade, the summer before 5th grade, because I spent summers with my mom. My parents have been divorced since I was 7. So we spent summers with my mom, and she had to work. So one summer before 5th grade, she dropped us off with some other lady who had 2 kids that, she was watching her kids in the summer. So my mom just paid her to watch us also. And the older one, who was I think he was a couple years older than me, he introduced us to D&D. And so
there you go.
I learned, he introduced us to D&D and showed me The Legacy, which is not the book of the Dritsto Erden series you should start with. But I read that and then went back and read, the earlier books. And so I read every Forgotten Realms book that was released in the 90s, early 2000s. And so that it just kind of snowballed from there. So JRPGs, my grandma and dinosaur books, D&D and D&D books. So
yeah. Wow, this is where the parallels keep mounting up. My grandmother taught me to read too.
There we go.
Like she lived right across the street, and my folks split up when I was probably right around the same age. And I would walk home from school. My mom's a single mom working as a nurse, so she's at work. I would walk home. My grandparents lived across the street, so I'd hit my grandmom, and she would teach me to read every day after school because I was lagging behind. I wasn't great in the beginning.
Yeah, I was very, very lucky because again, like I only saw my grandma like parts of the summers because my mom would take us up there to visit her for we would stay like we were really young. I think we would stay like a month with my grandma and grandpa in like when I was 5. This dates me. They would put me on a plane from Bradenton to Seattle, Washington. And I flew by myself at 5 years old. Now the stewardesses obviously walked me to my connecting flight.
Sure.
And they could wait. your parents could wait with you at the gate and, pick you up at the gate back then,
Right.
pre 9/11. And they flew me out to Olympia, because that's where they lived, and that's where I did so many museums and zoos and stuff. And I've always loved zoos just because of them. And yeah. And so I spent like a month with my grandparents like every summer growing up, and that was super formative. So yeah, I liked reading. I could not tie my shoes though.
Yeah, I think that took me a long time to learn too. I think we may be separated at birth, Alan. I think this is too much is mounting up here. Okay, so when did story became important to you? Around the same time, our grandmoms, all that kind of thing. Like, when did the arts and performance? Was it because you hitting the museums? Like, when did that take hold?
So my mom, again, like none of my personality is because of my dad and stepmom, who I lived with, and it's just I did not get along with my stepmom. We have a great relationship now. Like,
yeah,
they both love Atticus dearly, and so it doesn't matter that.
Oh God, yeah, no.
My home life may not have been the best, but they love my little boy, and I don't.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah. But when my mom listened to two things on CD and cassette, and it was country music. So that was my exposure to, like, Trisha Yearwood and Faith Hill and all that, and also Broadway soundtracks. And I grew up watching the like West Side Story movie and the Hello Dolly movie and Guys and Dolls and stuff like that. And Starlight Express, the original, which is the only good one. The updated one sucks. But I listened to these. So and also Disney musicals.
Big. They were huge.
I performed with stuffed animals nearly the entire, probably close to word perfect, The Lion King. And my mom filmed it, and it exists somewhere. But the thing is, I didn't have any lions. So I didn't have even one lion. So Simba was not a lion. Timon and Pumbaa Timon was a huge white bear, and Pumbaa was this enormous bunny with enormous cheeks. And I had a gorilla that was Rafiki, and then I had another gorilla that wasn't Rafiki. I don't know who he was, but and so those songs, like, I would just,
they were great, man.
And I learned words from them, because freaking Ashman and Menken didn't assume that children were absolute stupid morons. Yeah. And guess what? If there's a word they don't know, they'll figure it out, won't care, or will look it up, which is exactly what I did. Stupid. I did not know what I was. Christina was singing Part of Your World yesterday, and I was thinking of the line, "Bet you on land, they understand that they don't reprimand their daughters." I had no idea what that meant in 1989, but like, late, who cares? I sang it anyway. I said what I thought it said, and went on with it, because I'm like, don't treat me like I'm an idiot.
Because you're a kid and the song's cool.
So stupid. Anyway, so I didn't do any theater.
Yeah.
And none.
Really? Not even into high school? Like, when you had when did it start, dude?
When I was in the 11th grade.
Okay. Wow, junior year, all the way till junior year.
The internet had just come out. We had dial-up, but I didn't have the internet at my house. But my rich friend Pope had the internet, and I had an email. I made it the computers at school, and I don't know what I thought. Like, I thought people were going to email me, but I'm like, Pope, I need to go over to your house. Like, he was one of our main friends. We went over to your house all the time. I'm like, Pope, let me go to your house. Let me check my email. And he's like, oh, wait, I gotta run by the drama building, see if they need any help for anything. I'm like, Pope, come on. Yeah. And so I tagged along, and
that was it.
It was in a portable out, not on the main campus, and we opened it, and they're in there doing whatever, and he's asking the drama teacher. I'm like, Pope, come on. And the drama teacher's like, hey, can y'all read these like things? And I'm like, Pope, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. And I read it, and the drama director liked me, and Pope was in it too. And that is how I ended up as Mighty Theseus, Duke of Athens, in Midsummer Night's Dream as my very first performance. And after that, I was I had the bug.
You were bitten, man. That's it. That's it. It was done. So, what's your performance of choice? Is it musicals? Is it Shakespeare? Is it like what? Like what do you love to do? What's the love?
Musicals, but I am not good in them because I cannot sing or dance. I was in. So
you get the right role. That doesn't matter, Alan.
Oh, it matters so much. Here are the musicals I've been in high school. Our drama class did Little Shop, not the club. And there were only 4 guys in that class. Yeah. And so I was Seymour. I should not have been Seymour, but I was the least bad. So I was that. I was the Anvil salesman in Music Man. That was my first musical. I was Mr. McAfee in Bye Bye Birdie. This was all in high school. And then after I was an adult, I did a lot of stuff with the college that's right here because one of my friends was the theater director there. I was the narrator in Into the Woods, which is fine because it's talk singing, no dancing. Yeah. And FDR and Annie, which is fine because there's a little bit of singing, but it's not hard. And I'm in a wheelchair, so there's no dancing.
You can't dance. Yeah,
that's right. I like Shakespeare plays, especially not the stupid comedies that everyone does all the dang time. I really like Shakespeare. I live in a small city in Florida. Shakespeare is not popular here. And when it is done, it is always, if so help me, if I see Midsummer Night's Dream one more time, I'll drive a spike into my eye. I'm so tired of Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm so tired of stupid Midsummer Night's Dream. What I leave out? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot that existed. It's not important. Hold on, Christina. Oh, sorry. Also, I was in I worked with the theater company here. This was after I met Christina.
Yes.
I was in.
Thank you, Christina.
Sure. I was in a musical called The Spitfire Grill where I had one walk-on part where I do not say anything. I just come on looking homeless with a huge beard, a huge homeless man lumberjack beard, and I look sad. That's it. And then the next year I was in the Fantastics. As,
Fantastics. That's a good show.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Fantastics. I was the assistant to the actor. So I was the guy that played the I have the stupid bow and arrow. I'm the horribly stereotypical Indian. Mortimer, that's his name. Yeah, Mortimer. So that's what I've done. My favorite play I've done is I discovered a one-man show by Dennis O'Hare from True Blood or Always a Pedophile in Law and Order. And Lisa Peterson, who was a classicist, they wrote a one-man show called An Iliad, and it's about the Iliad, the Trojan War, and the really the Hector Achilles stuff, and that is my favorite thing to do. No, it was a friggin' wig. It was a fake beard. I did not grow it.
Did you do the spirit gum? Did you do the spirit gum?
Yeah.
Isn't that the worst stuff known to man? Isn't that the absolute worst? Oh my God, I hate it so much. Okay.
So I love
I've heard you do a one-man Iliad, right? Like you've done this show.
Yeah, multiple times. It's the only thing I do now. Like I haven't been in a play in ages. Like Christina, was Fantastic's last play I was in?
Christina's like your press agent. She has the clipping. She has the whole thing.
When was that?
It was the second year of our marriage.
Second, it's 2020?
2019, I think.
What? 2019? Okay, so I haven't done anything except Iliad since 2019.
It was before COVID.
Oh, crap, son.
Yeah. It's been a minute. Let me ask you a question. For starting junior year in high school, dude, you got a lot of plays under your belt before you graduated high school, son. Like that's a lot of musicals you said in high school. How many did you guys do a year?
Well, I mean, they did. Our school always did. They did one musical in the spring and a play in the fall. And so, and it's not like we were, it's not like we're teaming with men who want to be in theater. So it was pretty. The musicals were a different story that were with the club because the choir kids would come and audition. I'm good at projecting. And I am amazing at memorizing lines. And those two things, I could be bad, and it still makes me useful. In fact,
you still get parts. Yeah,
twice. And before I met Christina, twice in 2 years, the college had to boot people out of the show. One was a month before because the dude was creeping on the girls, so they booted him out, and they called me because they knew I could do it. The other one, literally the week before the show, it was Moliere's Tartuffe, and I was playing.
Gosh!
Yes, and I'm playing. What's her name? Darlene. I'm playing the woman. Like I have to play the female maid. They called me a week before because I'm the only person they knew that could memorize all those freaking lines because it's not a small part.
No.
In a week. And so that's kind of what I'm known for is I'm good at, my memory's terrible, but I am good at memorizing things. And so, yeah, so that's.
So when you say your memory's terrible, like after the show's over, is it just gone in a couple of weeks or what?
My task memory is bad. Like I do not remember things that people tell me. I do not remember things I'm supposed to do. But things I sit down to memorize, I'm very good at memorizing.
Okay, gotcha. So so after high school, did you study theater? Did you just keep doing it just because you could remember?
My first major was a theater major.
Really? So you were all in. You were all in at this point.
I did that for a year in Orlando until I realized I hate theater people. Like I hate theater kids. I don't like them at all. I got a C in my tap dancing class. And the reason I remember that is I was coming out of tap class on 9/11. The class that was coming in, there were no TVs on in the tap class. The class that was coming in was like, oh my gosh, did you guys hear? Obviously not. We've been in tap. But I will forever remember that stupid tap class because that's where I was when I found out about the towers. So.
Yeah. Wow. I think we had a show going during 9/11. And we were running a theater company at the time. And it would just like, just the world. That's it. The world's changed. Like nothing's going to be the same from this point on.
When I went down to Orlando, I flew down. I carried, my grandma had given me an entire set of kitchen knives, and I carried it with me in my carry-on on the plane.
Oh yeah.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Jimmy, why did you change your icon? I can't. Y'all do. Okay, everyone here, I do not look at y'all's names. I look at your icon. If you change it, I do not know who you are. Like,
dude, Jimmy's changing the whole thing over there.
He has been talking. Like, okay, Jimmy, if you ever want me on Chatting with Nuts again, seriously, in the rider in my contract, I must have old thumbnail and old style of video. That's a rider in my it's a rider in my contract. I can't perform otherwise.
All right, Alan. So it's been a while since you've been on the boards. What's that dream project? What's that dream project? Because I would do this.
In acting?
Yes.
So ideally, I would love to do one of the staged Terry Pratchett plays. I
didn't even know there were such a thing.
Yes, several of his books have stage versions, and Guards has one, and I have wanted to do it forever.
Is there scripts like it's published and the whole thing?
I own the scripts for most of them. Mm-hmm. You can literally order the script for sure. Oh yeah. What I want to do, you need to get on this.
An idea is forming here. Like how many
staged reading? Like on.
That's what I'm saying. How many people do we need to get on a stream and do a reading of Guards?
Seriously, we need to do that. Please don't let me forget it because again, I will forget we had this conversation because having Asperger's, my life is very regimented. Like I do the same thing at the same time every day. And if I do not, like today, Christina and I swapped cars. And today, Christina messaged me at 1:00 asking if I have her keys. I do. They're in my pocket because we never switch cars. So I never check my pockets in the morning, ever. Like I have my keys. I have the keys that I'm using, and that's it. I don't check my pockets. Most people check their pockets, I guess. I do not. If I do not do it on a regular basis, I cannot remember it. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I can't remember it.
This is where the parallels keep mounting, Alan. I do the same thing, and my kid, Jakob, is such the same way. Like, he worked at a kennel. His first job was at a kennel. And when they would give the dogs back to the people, they had a line of perfumes for the dogs, right? So his first day, he looks at this line of perfumes and they're in a certain order. And every day he worked there after that for years, the first thing he would do was walk there and put them back in that order that they were in the first day he started working.
Word.
If there were friends in my house, I'm coming home late from the theater, my wife would do this with a napkin and throw it on the floor, and they would all take bets of how long it would take me to. I'm the guy that walks in and knows exactly what penguin is not pointing north right away, and who bumped that bureau because my penguin is now pointing south by southwest, and it usually points north. Like I'm telling you, there's a lot of the same kind of thing going on.
I'm hypersensitive to changes in my environment. My kids, like, I don't sit behind my desk while my students are taking tests. I stand at the front of the room, and I'm reading something on my phone, or I'm reading something on my Kindle, or I'm grading or whatever, but I'm standing at the front of the room, and I am hypersensitive to children moving their head. And anything that anyone does that is out of the ordinary of normal people taking a test, I will just move over and I will stand right in front of their row. And you know, it's so obvious when they look suspicious. It's like, just stop. Because it irritates me, because then I can't take my attention off what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to freaking read and I can't. Now I've got to sit here and pay closer attention because some kid's trying to pull a fast one. I'm just hypersensitive. Like Christina, most people can't tell when Christina's upset. And I'm just like, what's your problem? And she's like, how do you know I'm upset? I'm like, because you're acting weird. Like, you're not acting. I don't know. I'm super sensitive to alterations in pattern.
I'm that way. Yeah, well, she's your person too. You got to be able to read her like no one else,
Word.
right? So, okay, this is another thing. Like, I've done a bit of teaching in my life. What's that to you? Started as a theater major, you ended up as a teacher. Talk to me about that aspect of your life.
I was in school for 8 years, and most of those people are called doctors. I got a master's in 8 years.
You got a master's?
Bachelor's.
Bachelor's, okay.
It's a bachelor's. Is a combination of, I took too many classes because I overestimated my abilities. I took too many difficult classes because I loved the professor. Like, he was the best professor I had, but he was so much reading. I'm like, I cannot keep up with this. And so I ended up withdrawing a bunch. And then I moved schools a lot. And then I also played WoW. And that is also.
And that's ours. That's ours right there. Yeah.
So I went to my first year in college. I went to the community college because I met a girl doing a play in community theater, and she was a senior in high school. So I super seniored that one and dated her. And then she went to Orlando. So I'm like, you know what? I guess I'll go to Orlando and be a theater major too. That was a disaster. That was just terrible. So I was there for a year and then moved home. And so finished at the community college, got my associates. And then I met a girl.
It's always a girl, man.
Online. Oh yeah, these are messages. These are lessons I try to teach my idiot students. They're like, I think I'm going to follow. Like, do not do that.
No, yeah.
But I met a girl playing D&D online. How about that one? And I visited. She was from Connecticut.
Take that, Tinder.
I know, right? I visited her a bunch, but then so I moved up to Connecticut to be with her, and then I went to school there. And there has never, for a long time, there was no disaster like that disaster. That was like, man, I'm talking about stuff I've never talked about online. John, what are you doing?
I don't know, man. It's my superpower.
No, someone's trying to betray me. Someone wants
No, come on. No one's betraying you. Stop it.
This girl's parents hated me.
Oh, that's the worst.
They tried to sue me for emotional abuse.
Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, this girl borrowed my car because hers was broken to go home, call me from her parents' house to tell me she was breaking up with me. And I'm like, can I have my car? And also my copies of Game of Thrones, Storm of Swords, and Clash of Kings, please. Meanwhile, and the thing is, like, she doesn't know what she's talking about because, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Regardless, they just did not like me. And they sent my mother the
Oh my God, they
nastiest email about me. My mom still has not let me read it. She still has, to this day, not let me read it. I have never seen my mom so angry at another human being. Like, not even my stepmom, my dad. My mom called her attorneys and was like, I'm going to take them for everything they're worth for like,
for a bad email. You
I've
know
never
what?
seen anything.
Fair play to your mom for never letting you read that. But if okay, so what is teaching to you? Is it because when I was doing it, I wasn't classically teaching like you in a classroom. It was a very different type of thing that I was doing, and I'll tell you about it if you want to know. But I want to get more about you. So, is it like when you see that light go on? Like, is it everything for you that it was for me when I was doing it? Is it special in that way, or is it just a drudge at this point?
No, for sure. For sure, but I got to complete the deep lore. First of all, click on Sam Wise's comment. Sam,
okay, all right,
you get so many points for having remembered the lore.
I don't see the lore comment.
It's about Finding Nemo. It's Connecticut.
All right, got you.
Yes, Sam. Oh, how do you remember that? Anyway, yes. So there was a disaster, and I moved home. And then I went to UWF in Pensacola for 4 years, and I got my degree finally. But my degree was in international politics with a minor in Japanese, and I graduated 1 month, or the December of 2008, 2 months after the economic collapse. So the only job I could get was in dialysis, and so I worked dialysis from 2008 when I graduated until 2013 till 2011, and then I worked as a production assistant for the news station for 2 years, and then at Buffalo Wild Wings I ran.
Oh my gosh, you're like me. You've had every job in the world.
I didn't work at Buffalo Wild Wings. I was eating there, and I saw a girl that I went to high school with who was in theater, and I yelled at her during the Crucible because she was assistant director, and I said, "Screw you, Kathleen!" I threw my script at her because I was sick of her yelling at me, and she was the theater teacher at my school, and was like, "Hey, I think they need another Latin teacher. You took Latin, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, like 13 years ago." So I went and took the subject matter test, and I restudied my Latin so I could get it. And that's how I became a teacher. And my first year, I would shoot myself in the foot before I would ever be a new teacher again. Like, it was the worst. It is
really just because you didn't know how to.
Post-COVID year were the worst years I have ever had at a job. It was just awful. I hated it.
Because you just didn't know how to do it. You didn't know how to reach the kids. What made it the worst?
No one tells you how to do that job. No one. Like, theoretically, you have mentors, and the classes, the stupid Bobo bullshark classes you have to take don't teach you a dang thing. It was just I'm lucky I did not lose my job that first year. And then the second year was better, and then it's slowly learning since then. And I've got a pretty good handle on it now, and I enjoy it. I just hate it because it's too much work, and
everything's too much work.
It doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah.
You don't ever get, like, I get the same raise as people who aren't good at their job. Like, there's not really extrinsic motivation to be good at your job. There just aren't. So yeah. Well,
but you don't only teach Latin now, right?
I teach Latin, and I teach a class called Classical Studies, which is it is my raison d'etre. Yeah. If they took the class away from me, I would quit, because the language is hard, and kids. There are very few kids who get super excited about learning grammar, and I have some history and myth in there too, but it's mostly grammar. But Classical Studies is a class that I teach from the founding of, slightly before the founding of Athenian democracy, all the way through the death of Alexander the Great. And I go in depth, and it's over 2 years, and it is my favorite class, and it is so rewarding to see these children who none of them are interested in ancient history. They don't know anything about it. They certainly don't care. But watching them, legitimately, and I have incredible self-loathing, and I do not think that I'm good at many things. But this is one thing where when a character, meaning a general that we've stayed with for a month and a half or whatever, following the story of Thebes and Sparta, whatever, when this guy dies, and I set the slides up to where it reads like a narrative, like point appears, and then it's like, but then. And whenever they say, but then, or he almost reached them, and having people literally sniffling with tears in their eyes because a Theban general is killed means that I am doing my job well. And because they are invested in what is happening. Now, there's some stuff that deals with geopolitics and governmental structures, which is really the important stuff I'm trying to teach them. Like, hey, this is how governments work. Most of them are less invested in that, but the narratives, they are.
Yeah, but
they applaud regularly when something good happens or when someone they hate dies.
Yeah, but I mean, look, that's the light that goes off, right? When you're teaching that story that is our story as a culture and a species and a people, and they start to see that's prologue for us sitting in this room right now. That's the human experience. That's us. We're all connected. It's all one piece. It's all one tapestry. It's all one story, and I can contribute a page. And they start to get that. They start to get that through the narrative that you present to them in that way. Like, that's how can you have self-loathing or beat yourself up when you can achieve that, when you can accomplish that, when you can give that to a young person? You should be walking on air, my friend.
No, what I do doesn't matter is the problem. Like, what I do doesn't matter.
We just described it that it does.
But it low-key doesn't, because like for a minute I have so many people and most people in life will be like, oh my gosh, teachers, oh, I respect so much of what you do. Okay, that costs you nothing. It costs you nothing to tell me that. And yet they vote down every teacher pay raise because heaven forbid they got to pay another $100 a year on their property taxes. We are demonized because look, I am indoctrinating my children. Apparently, I can't get them to learn their vocab, but I can control their mind. I said to them today, I said, guys, I need y'all to listen to me. Step up. And I'm sorry, I hope I don't get you demonetized here. I said today, because we were talking about Caesar and we're talking about the politics during Caesar's time. And I said, guys, I don't talk about politics in here because one way or the other, that's not what this class is about, but it is about political structures. But I am going to tell you something right now, because we're talking about the plebeian party wanting more rights and the oligarch party trying to stop them because back then the oligarchs were more educated, like they did know more. And I'm like, I am revolutionary and tyrant simultaneously. I simultaneously celebrate everyone's right to vote. And at the same time, don't think stupid people should be able to vote because they don't know what they're talking about. And but let me clarify stuff for you right here. I'm gonna tell you 5 things right here. 5 things. 1, there is no weather machine from a James Bond movie creating hurricanes. There's no wizards. It's not magic. Please stop.
Alan, wait. The lasers. That's a pretty good argument.
2. The Earth is round. 3, we landed on the moon. 4, vaccines don't cause autism. 5, essential oils don't cure cancer. So go home and tell your mom that, guys. And I said, you know what? Britt Smith walks in right now. Guess I'm fired. But you know what? I'm not gonna take it. We're not gonna talk about the weather machine, guys. We're not gonna talk about a weather machine. We're not going to do it.
Wait, I think it's lasers. I don't think it's a machine with cogs and things.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I saw someone saying that no one was taking this mayor of this Texas town seriously because the guy suggested that they should use a nuke. And then in parentheses, without the radiation, obviously.
How does that work?
No. Don't ask why. We should use a nuke without the radiation, obviously, to break up Milton. How people are so stupid. And I can't. I mean,
I'm just a theater guy, but that's right there in the name. That's right there in the billing. Nuke. In bright lights with the exclamation, that's right there in the title.
I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore.
Well, dude, let me
without the radiation, obviously.
Well, that's bad news. Radiation's always been bad news. But look, I think you should feel good about what you're able to accomplish, right? Like, I think, look, there's always external forces, and you know this, all the way back to Socrates. There was always external forces on anytime anyone's trying to teach. There's continually external forces.
Oh,
You got
absolutely. Thornall is correct. Sorry. 6 is, and I forgot, I do say this on my kids, Pluto is a planet. When I teach them numbers, I have a question on the test that says, and they have to answer with the Latin number, how many planets are there in the solar system? And there's an answer that says 8 and an answer that says 9. And I said, you guys, if you guys want to stand on your principles, I admire you, but I'm going to count it wrong. So you guys go ahead. If you want those points, you will go where the side of your bread your bread is buttered on, and that is that there are 9 planets. I'm not dealing with this Pluto nonsense. So I was feeling good about me being a teacher.
Yeah. And you should.
My nephew, my brother's oldest, is a 9th grader this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they toured my school and whatever, and really made it seem like my school was in the running because we have a really good, like, high school is garbage mostly, but like my kids learn stuff. Like the only kids from Arnold that have gone to Ivy League schools have come through me. Like, and I that's not hyperbolic. It's literal. Like the only kids from Arnold that have gone to Ivy League schools have come through my classroom.
That's huge, man.
So it's me and then the engineering teacher who teaches 4 years of engineering, and I teach 4 years of classical studies in Latin or whatever. That kid would get a good education going to Arnold. But my sister-in-law and my brother, first of all, they were going to send him to this fake school that just opened up that is a STEM school, because why shouldn't anybody need anything from the humanities, right? But then it was the first year it opened, so they realized it was a fake school or whatever, or that they were just worried about it. So then they send him to the school that we went to, which is not like that anymore because the school I teach at was opened up. So our school, when we went there, was more like the school I teach at now. Anyway, because he's zoned for it. He is zoned for it. And so they're just going to put him on the bus so they don't have to drive him. And he goes to this school that they don't know any of the teachers. In fact, they do know the Latin teacher. And my brother has said that Latin teacher does not, she's the volleyball coach. And so I get it. Volleyball is her thing.
Well, that's an odd pairing. Yeah.
So my issue, you know, my brother's like, you know, doesn't learn anything anyway. So my problem is I took a bigger hit than I thought I was going to take, because if my brother and sister-in-law truly believed that I made a difference in education, that their kid would be better off having learned from me, they would have driven him the 20 minutes to my school every day. Because I could drive the kid home, you know?
Sure.
But they don't. So my family does not respect what I do. They say they do, but every action they take does not say they do. And so I'm done. Like I have not hung out with my sister-in-law and my brother. I've hung out once since then because my mom made us. But I am not. I'm frustrated because the middle kid, who's 2 years behind my oldest nephew, wants to go to Arnold, but
yeah,
sorry, your older brother made the choice for you and for your little brother. He has made the choice by going. Your parents have made the choice for all of you. It doesn't matter what you want to do. So that struck a blow, and I spent a couple months being super depressed. I've come out of it a little bit since then, but
well, look, I mean, this sounds like a pretty amazing school. Where I went to school in a small Texas town, I had already taken everything by my senior year, so my schedule looked something like shop, office aid, you know. So I mean, dude, I think you should feel extremely accomplished for what you're able to do, because I don't think there's any more important job than teaching. There's just not.
I agree with you, but the fact that we have gotten as a culture so far away from well-educated, like cosmopolitan, but we're talking
about losing the humanities and teaching towards a test. Those are the two systematic pivots that that have changed so much?
It's because we do not value anything that we cannot directly one for one stick a dollar sign on. And it's really shameful because
It's absolutely shameful because you're taking away opportunities from the students to find places where they excel and achieve and give themselves direction and identity. And you're taking some of those options away from them.
For sure. Yeah. We don't value the soft skills that come with a broad education in the humanities, and yet we need them. And that's why no one knows how to relate to anybody. These kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, people will wonder why, as a culture, we become further and further polarized because empathy can become a thing of the past. Communication can become a thing of the past because we're not teaching the humanities anymore. We're not teaching art anymore. We're not teaching how we are as a people and a culture and a species, that how we come together.
That's because we have decided that ideas that are different than our own are dangerous. We are so afraid of. We sit here and we say our kids can think for themselves or should be able to think for themselves. And yet we are so afraid of them being exposed to ideas that we may not agree with or that are different than ours, because we are terrified that if they hear that, they will abandon everything that you've taught them. And that is the opposite of that. We're infantilizing children. That's the problem with education just in general. We have infantilized, and that's what I tell my students. I said, guys, like, y'all get pissed off because my class is hard. I will not infantilize you. I will not treat you like you are incapable of doing this work. Every one of you is in this class because you are not a moron. You are able to do this. You just have been taught that you don't know how. So yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and hold your hand through it because you can't connect that 1, 2, 3. The next number in the sequence is 4, people. Why are you this way, children?
But it doesn't that give you a sense of accomplishment?
No, because
come on, Alan.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't work.
It absolutely does work. Let me tell you something. I remember to this day, and I know you do too, because you already mentioned you took way too many classes and it took you 8 years to get a bachelor's because of one professor, kind of. So I know these teachers that moved you, motivated you, changed you, molded you are still there, just like some of mine are. So you know the impact you have. You know the impact you have intellectually. I think when you get down on yourself for something, that is an emotional response.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. That definitely is. Sorry. Addressing the Pluto thing. So much of dumb crap that occurs, guys, is people who are justifying the fact that they have a job. Like, there was no reason to recategorize Pluto. There was no reason to not grandfather him in and just not make any other planets Pluto's size as planets or whatever. But we have to iterate constantly. This is why Microsoft, every single Windows is suckier than the one before, except for Vista, which was garbage. Thank goodness we're past that. But we have to iterate because we have to justify us having a job. So the scientists, freaking the NASA people, I guess we just weren't doing anything worth note. It's like, you know what? We haven't come out with a discovery recently. You know what we should do? Let's shake things up by making Pluto not a planet. Stupid. It's just stupid. Stop. Get it. Go solve a problem. Stop creating problems. Oh my goodness.
So let me ask you this. I was really happy this last video you put out because I was happy that you're coming back. Talk to me about coming back. Talk to me about BookTube and what the journey, because you're way further than me. You've been doing this how long now?
Class of 2020, so 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years. So what's the journey been like? What's the experience been like? I know you've had time away. What drove you to come back? I mean, give me some insight.
Well, what drove me to come back is I like the people that I interact with. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna end up in I'm a wet blanket. But I'm trying to come back because I want to. I just don't have margin for a lot of things, and so I'm trying to come back and justify my existence. Because I enjoyed it when I was doing it, and then I just got out of the habit, and I'm trying to get back in the habit of doing it. But I started BookTube, and when I joined BookTube, like BookTube, I'm not trying to knock on, people who are doing BookTube now. Like, I'm not. But I liked it so much better when I first started, because first of all, it was like everyone I knew was in the same Discord. Like, we were all in the same community. Like, everyone I knew. Like, there were so many of us, and we all did the same read-alongs, and we all read, the same books in the read-alongs, and we had competitions and readathons, and it was all like in the same place. And we talked all the time. It's, COVID, so we had so much time, and it just seemed like people were just like, let's just talk about books and stuff. And then what happened is that, and again, I'm not judging anybody. This isn't a value judgment. This is just how I see it. Like, everyone has their own community now, and there are only X amount of places one can talk. Like, Joanna and I used to talk all the time, but then she decided she was going to go be a mod in a different server, and now she never talks to me. She only talks to only Josh and Matt are worth. Oh, sorry, let's not forget Philip and Jimmy and Murphy. They're the only ones worthy to talk to now. But Joanna and I used to be super close friends. We used to talk all the time. But then Joanna decided that I was not worth the neurons firing. Like, she had to save synapses from talking to people who matter. But everyone's spread out. And so now, like, everyone talks to the people they talk to the most. And it's the same way with me. Like, I have the people that I always talk to, and everyone has the people they always talk to. And it just spread it out more. And so it felt less like one community and like a larger community with pockets of people, which is fine.
Yeah.
But then the influencerization of BookTube happened, and that's the thing I hate the most.
Okay, wait. What is that? The influencerization. Explain that.
So BookTube, at least our corner of BookTube, and this is, again, idyllic halcyon day nostalgia waxing. In our corner of BookTube, there weren't people really talking about the algorithm, and there were no clickbait thumbnails really, and certainly people weren't changing their thumbnail after an hour, and it was just people just made their freaking videos, and then all of a sudden this trend of top 10s, because that's what gets views, top 10s repeatedly, like sometimes 2 weeks apart, of like, oh, this is my top 10 for the first 3 months, and here's my top 10, and then 2 months later, here's my top 10 of the first half of the year, and because it gets views, and then these stupid titles like, oh, did I hate it? No, you didn't. No one who ever puts "did I hate it" in a thumbnail hated it, guys. There you go. On that. And and I got so sick of listening to people, and this is not why I left, but it's just like, I just left because I ran out of time. I just don't like, Leslie is out there. Leslie's out there reviewing books ain't nobody ever heard of. Leslie is doing her thing.
That's no joke. That's absolutely true.
3 or 4 videos a week. Leslie is on the grind. Good. Like, Leslie absolutely is absolutely someone I'm talking about. But like, listening to people on videos talk about wishing they could make videos that they want to make, but they can't because the algorithm. That's disingenuous. It's bullcrap. You can, you just don't want to get fewer views.
Yeah.
So don't act like you can't. And then people saying, oh, I love the community, doesn't talk to anybody, is obviously in it for views and money. Like, I cannot stand.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think really anyone's making tons of cash, right?
No,
I
but
just don't see that.
When people literally go on and say, "Hey guys, like, oh man, if you don't watch my video, like, oh, I need that ad revenue," or like, "Hey, so you need to come do this because we're looking for that cash." Like, when people literally mention that they don't care about their viewers, that they don't care about putting out content, that they just are trying to get clicks. Like, when people admit that, but then with the other side of their mouth say, oh, no, it's about the community. I really, no, you don't. Like, no, you don't. And the problem is I'm not stupid. So I don't believe you because I heard you say this other thing. And unlike the rest of the world, I hear someone say this and then try to act like they didn't say it. Yes, you freaking did. Don't gaslight me. The problem is I am Cassandra. I am a modern day Cassandra. I am out here telling everyone. I'm out here telling everyone the truth, but no one can believe me because I've been cursed to not believe. Oh, by the way, make sure you hit that bell notification on Fantasy Network so you get updates on all of his videos, and to make sure you like and subscribe to Jimmy's Patreon. Anyway, I just don't like people who act like they have to be a slave to the algorithm. It's like, if you don't enjoy it, don't do it. And I hate when people are like, oh, well, y'all said you wanted this kind of video, but the views show that you clearly don't care. It's like, quit whining at the people watching your videos, please. Please stop doing that. Like, if you want to make that content, do it. If you don't, don't. I just wish that people would do stuff they're passionate about. And I guess some people are passionate about making that money, getting them clicks. I don't have respect for that. But I have a whole lot of respect for people doing things that they give a crap about, because I don't like watching robots go through the motion and
okay, yeah, but okay. But I get, okay, what about
John, I do not need a video about 10 spooky reads to get me through the season. I don't need 100 of those.
I watch those. Those are good videos. Sometimes I find a book I don't know about, and I love spooky reads. So, I mean, but look, how does that impact you of putting your content out that you're passionate about, that you want to do?
You cannot ask me that question. It affects me because I understand the principle of it, John. That is how it affects me. And because it makes the world a worse place. Like that mindset of, again, it's like it infects this place that is supposed to be it's supposed to not be like out here where everything is about freaking maximizing dollar signs and maximizing value. Why can't this just be a place where people sit here and talk about books they love? Because and you can tell when it's become that, because no one talks about books they love anymore. Instead, you're just a crappier BuzzFeed with a stupid listicle that doesn't have any of your actual opinions on it.
Oh, look.
We'll fight, John.
I think, well, no, I'm not. Look,
I need to write this down. Like, put John's name in pencil. We can erase it if we need to, but we may have to declare holy war.
Oh, wait, no, don't. I can't take a holy war.
It's my list of enemies.
I can't take a holy war. No, I'm saying, I think the world is nuanced to where both things could possibly be true. Or there's space for both, there's space for all of it. Like the people that want that's all, if that's their goal and they're in it for the clicks, fair play to them.
No.
What does that have to do with?
Because it's principle. It is principle. Quit trying to bilk everything and stop. Okay.
Let's take it down to all the way down to ground zero, right? Like if you're trying to bilk, you're in the wrong corner of YouTube, man. Like this is not, no one's ever going to retire from this.
I mean, that's true. But I mean, if you have a decent Patreon and you have a decent, like it is not insignificant amounts of money. Like I have gotten to where I have a freaking mortgage now that no one told me can go up every year. I bought a house so I could have my rent stop being raised. Oh, you mean they can raise your mortgage payment too?
Well, yeah, that's taxes and stuff. Sure.
It makes me so mad. Yeah, I don't mean. Okay, so there's a difference. Everyone wants to grow their channel and get new subs. And I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor of people monetizing their channel. I think the disconnect I have is when people are disingenuous about it, when they act like it is about the craft and the community and the books, when it is actually about the clicks and the algorithm and the thing. And that is what rubs me the wrong way. And there are too many people doing it who are not honest with what they are doing.
Look, I mean, you're a gamer. You love games, right?
Yes.
The way I see it, algorithm is somewhat algorithm is somewhat of a game. Like you can play it to whatever level you want to play it to.
I know, but I hate it.
Well, and that's your prerogative. You can certainly hate it, but there's room for everyone to play it to a certain level. What I'm saying is, don't you watch to the point where you get so wrapped up that you can't put your content out because we miss your content.
But I am the sole arbiter of truth, and everyone must do things according to the right way, which is the way that Anitha, Evie, can y'all please tell John how it works?
Alan, you know that's a hideous trap. You know that's a hole that you're throwing yourself into. You're catching yourself in a horrible trap.
Oh, absolutely. And our counselor that we go to, constantly is like, hey, so Alan, you were not put on this world to purge corruption at the national level. I'm just going to go ahead and take a guess is that is not.
Not even in your county, Alan. Yeah, not even in your county.
So she's like, you should stop being mad about things that are so far outside your control. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I understand that. Like, why don't I just stop being mad about it then? Like, oh, yes, that's right. Just stop being mad. Like, it bothers me so much. It bothers, like, disingenuousness bothers me so much. I do not like people who, I don't like grifters. And again, they're not all grifters, but I just wish.
No, that's hard. That's a harsh word. That's a harsh word.
Just say, hey, I'm just doing this because I, want to get my channel as big as possible. I'm not super interested in, making community or making friends. Like, I really just want you to click and watch my videos, join my Patreon, and I'll keep coming out with my BuzzFeed. Hey, which Brandon Sanderson, which Stormlight Archive book are you, or whatever. And just say that instead of because the fact that people don't admit that means that they inherently think something is wrong with it. And if you think you're doing something wrong, why are you doing that thing?
I don't know about judgment calls right or wrong, but it's like which Stormlight book are you?
I make your sweeping judgment, John. Look, click on. Look, Anitha sees it, and there, Pete has the No, not that.
Well, I'm doing the best I can, Alan.
Sorry, Pete has the byline.
All right. Alan is the arbiter of truth. He is the only truth that matters. He is the tyrant, but also the revolutionary.
I'm totally fine with pushback on this because I also understand that I am not reasonable in all things. Right. But I can't not hate it. Like I literally hate it so much when people are like, oh, I wish I could do that with the algorithm. I don't care. Like I don't care.
I do look. This is what I think, Alan. This is what I think. I think you're a true intellectual, and I think you sit back and watch this and it galls you. But you have to understand on an intellectual level that it's a trap you're putting yourself into by giving the people this power. And when you get down in the self-loathing of yourself, you have to realize the true wealth of a man, the true positive trajectory of a man's life is those people that he touches that go forward in the line of our story that can possibly change things. And you have touched so many young people, and not only just Atticus that you'll be absolutely touched, but all your students, all these people, all this time you've spent touching these young lives that can go forward and change this. And your content does the same thing. So the more when you get spun up and wrapped up into this trap, you're taking your power away and giving the power to the people that are galling you to begin with.
Kyle was right. I am the evil side of the coin. You're so positive. Like, you're such a positive person. If I wish this was the first time I'd ever heard say, hey, stop giving other people power over you. I would love.
Well, I know that. Yeah, I get that. It's easier said than done. I truly.
I wish to exercise my unbending power over them. I wish to subjugate all within my all the lands as far as I can see, and I do not. Yeah, I know. And so the thing is, I was mad about it for a long time. And then finally, I was just being unpleasant, in general. And I unfollowed a ton of, because I am someone who likes to go make myself mad. I'm like, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to be mad today. And so I go look at things that make me mad. And so I unfollowed a lot of the issues that I'm talking about. And since then, it has been much better. And so now it's just a lack of margin and not having the margin when I get home to sit there and film crap. And then I have to edit it, which is what I'm going to do when we're off of this. I got to edit my TBR so I can get it out tomorrow.
Sweet. So we'll be out tomorrow. Slay, hey, thank you, because I'm all about the dollars here. And that was extremely kind of you.
Make sure you like subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you miss a single video.
No, Al, look, I love what you do, and it's like I find it genuine and entertaining and stimulating, and I miss you when you're not out there, man. And you're taking so much external stimulus and holding on to it for way too long, my friend.
I am not a mentally healthy person. I am very sad all the time. I have really bad anxiety and depression, like all the time. Like I'm constantly depressed. I go through cycles and I spiral, and I spend about a week and a half pretty miserable. And that's what I don't want to talk to anybody during that except my wife, who just is sad all the time. Because my wife is extremely positive. Like she is a light in the darkness. I am not. I am.
That's amazing that you had that. I mean, you have to be very thankful there.
Oh, for sure. Hold on. No, Evie, I didn't purge you. Sorry, I was reading a comment. No, I'm gonna start watching. No, seriously, I told everybody that as soon as I get back in the swing and I start posting videos again, I'm gonna start watching BookTube again, because it's just not fair. I don't think it's fair for me to ask people to watch my stuff and I don't watch anybody else's stuff.
Well, I mean, I think, look, everyone gets busy and everyone goes in cycles and stuff. Yeah. It's like I
can hear you keep talking. I have to refill this. I can.
Knock yourself out. Like everyone goes through cycles. It's like I'll be watching tons, and then I have to take a trip, or I've got those kind of days at work or something like that, and it's like then you gotta kind of try and catch up, or you just let that chunk go. I mean, it's that kind of thing for everybody. Let's see. Derry says, but Alan, you are one of my favorite people. I don't need you to be cheerful to spend time with you. See, Alan?
What? Who said I'm their favorite?
Derry.
Oh, Derry? Derry's the best.
Derry is the best. Derry and I are going to talk about the Farseer trilogy as soon as I finish reading book 3.
Derry doesn't know that I secretly read Assassin's Apprentice and hated it, so I just never told her.
You hated that book? I love that book.
It's the worst.
My God. How can you think that's the worst?
I didn't, but I want to see Derry freak out. I haven't read it. So.
You're the best instigator in the world, man. I dig you so much.
Yes, I do enjoy chaos.
But isn't that so important for us? I think every community needs that gadfly. Every community needs that agent of chaos.
Yes, I am Socrates' gadfly.
That's why I love your channel, man. That's why when you're not there, we as a community suffer.
Well, that may not be true, but
that's 100% true. And look, the parallels keep piling up because I can't take a compliment either, so I can recognize that.
I'm so bad at it, John. I'm so bad at it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I just don't know how to do it.
Okay, so what's tomorrow? Your TBR for what?
Yeah, my TBR for October. The books I'm going to read in October. And my patrons are sitting here with bated breath because they want to know what the wheel spun. Because fully half of them put one book on there. So half of my wheel was a single book, and they're trying to see if they've been trying to get me to read this for 2 years.
What book is this?
It's so like 2-3 years ago, I started to read along for the Shadows of the Apt. Hold on, Jacob Mail. Yes. For Shadows of the Apt, and we read the first arc, which was the first 4 books, and after that, very few people wanted to continue, to read, because it's a 10-book series. And I went with the democracy, the masses. And that was every time I have sided with the people, they're wrong. Like the mob does not know. And so like a few people like Anita and Pete, they read the whole series, and they've been waiting on me to continue it. And I want to, I just haven't. It's always something else that comes up.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to get read, but it has to be spun. And so they're trying to see if did it get spun?
Did it win? Did it win? Okay.
So, do you know, has Evie badgered you about this book yet?
No, but Heidi sent me a copy of this book for my birthday.
So Evie sent me a copy of this book. It is
okay.
It is.
I know. Look, I know it's a prisoners of war during the Peloponnesian War.
No, yeah. So it's in the middle. Athens has a incredibly ill-advised invasion of Sicily, and they are absolutely murked. And they're taken prisoner and put in the limestone quarries. And I guess these are two guys in the limestone.
These are two guys that produce a show from the prisoners, I believe, if I understand.
In the quarries, I think.
In the quarry. Yeah. So, is there anyone better to buddy read this than me and you?
I mean, no, but
so
well, what you should do is do the Joanna and Philip thing and invite a whole bunch of other people to read it, and then as an afterthought, right before y'all start, be like, oh, you know what? We should ask Alan if he wants to join. Do that. I really like being the last one to a buddy read.
Because look, this is I know how much Alan loves a buddy read just happening on the spot. Look, it's happening right there on the spot.
That is true.
A buddy read's going to be born right on the spot, is what I'm trying to do with you, Alan.
Well, I thought my book was out here. But yeah, it's I do want to read it because it does look interesting. So we should do it now.
We should do it.
You will have to wait because
no, I'm talking about in 2020 in 2025 sometime. Like I get you're backed up and stuff.
I am, but here's what you should do anyway. Like, well, let's say we'll do it later. Make sure, like, Joanna's right here. You can ask Joanna, get Joanna and Jimmy and Philip, and read it without me, and say, "Oh, sorry."
No, stop it.
That's what you should do.
That's not what I'm gonna do. You've already committed.
But here's the problem, John.
Yeah.
Everyone, there is something in the air. No one sets out to betray me, but everyone betrays.
Okay. Alan.
What? Where's my napkin?
Could it be?
No.
Could
different than what I just said. Where's my napkin?
Could it be this external things that you take and you hold on to too long is a betrayal to yourself, and maybe you're in the driver's seat more than you think?
Look, I would not be surprised that I betrayed myself. Everyone, I'm not excluded from everyone. Everyone eventually betrays me. Tune in next Tuesday. Me and Joanna will be doing the BookTube betrayal tag. Each one of the prompts is based on a betrayal that someone has committed against me.
But Joanna, are you in on this buddy read? Let me know. If you and Philip are out there, I'm putting this together right now on the spot. On the spot, Alan. On the spot.
I want to read it, John.
I do too.
I know. But they will never read it because I wish to read it.
No, that's not.
They only invite me to crap. Anything I want to read, they're like, no. Some random person they've never met says something in the comment. They're like, oh my gosh, that sounds so interesting.
Look at this. Joanna's in only if you're in.
Only
if you're in.
These are all lies. Words cost nothing. Words are free. Words are free. This costs nothing.
Phil, I'm gonna tell Philip all about this book, and he'll be in.
We can. Philip is enjoying his audiobook. And
he is. You know what? This is one more thing. I know we're running long, and I don't want to keep you. I know you're a new dad and everything.
Yeah,
but
sorry.
I have to talk to you about recording an audiobook. Like, this is a totally different type of performance. Tell me what that was like. Tell me what that experience is like. Like, is there as serious a learning curve as you and Philip's video said?
Yes. Yes. It is the worst. Like, it was so much, and this is what I constantly do. I'm like, it'll be fine. It won't be hard.
Yeah.
No.
It was hard.
So much harder than I thought it was going to be. And now it's okay because I understand how to do it.
Yeah. But was a lot of it technical or was a lot of it performance that you just...
No. It's all like the performance stuff that comes, like, we're actors, right? So we have experience doing that. So that it is different in the studio because I can't yell. Like you can't yell. Like you'll
Well,
blow.
no, not right into the microphone. Sure, you'll blow.
I mean,
yeah.
but if you get too far away, it sounds like you're far away from the mic. So
right. Thank you so much, Simon.
That's the hardest by far as far as performance is. But the technical crap, absolute, no bloody clue what I was doing.
So how much of it is self-imposed in that? Because I know me, right? And if I was doing this, I would do it over and over and over because it's like, no, my build was wrong. I started too early. I got to the high point too early, and then I have this after, and it didn't build right. I'm going to go back up and do it again. And no, that wasn't quite right. I'm going to go back up and do it again. Like, how much of it was that you just directing yourself ad nauseum?
So the technical part, just learning how to use the equipment and like how to use the program and stuff, that was really hard to learn how to do.
Yeah.
And then it's just time consuming until you learn how to make it not time consuming. And then, exactly like you said, I would do a voice, and then the next time that person came up, I would do their voice again, and I would go back and listen to when I did it the first time, and I'd be like, those don't sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
And so I would and like Christina said, Alan, I cannot hear the difference between those two. Like,
but you can, but you could.
Of course I can. I absolutely can. And I'm like, everyone's going to be able to tell. Christina, everyone will know.
But it's been out a while. Have you gotten feedback? Have you heard things?
What? Sorry, my wife is hollering at me. Why are you yelling from the other room? What do you mean how they're going to know? They're going to listen to it. What do you mean how they're going to know?
But people have listened. Have you heard feedback? Have you heard reviews of your work?
I don't think anyone's finished it. There's one person on Philip's Twitter that finished it and liked it a lot, which is fine.
See?
And Philip is liking it, which that's
the main thing. Isn't that the main thing?
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that Philip liked it, is good because I mean, good. And dang, thanks, Mike. And then
where I don't see
Mindolin. No, up above the way it's like his previous comment. The voices.
Okay, got it.
There we go. So yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, the people have said some nice things, which is fine, and I hear them. I disagree, and am waiting for someone to tell me they hate it. Because
I have never look, Alan. I have no count. I have lost so many. I've walked off stage so many times, and the only thing in my mind is the moments I missed. That's how we're wired. That's never going to change.
Someone to tell me they don't like it because that is what I'll hyper focus on. I'll play that
for the rest of you forever. You'll hear that over and over again.
I hear stuff from when I was in elementary school that still hurts my feelings because I do not have the ability to let go of negative comments because understand the negative comments. That's the truth. Truth.
It's not.
It is.
Who told you that?
Me.
What person told you that?
Me, and I am the arbiter of all truth. And so since I think it is true.
Okay, this is what has to happen. I got to come down to Florida. I have to move in with you for like 3 weeks. I'm going to pitch a tent in that living room there, and we're going to address all these things, man.
It's I know I shouldn't be this way, but I have such incredible self-loathing. So you're such a positive person to talk to, John. You are so nice. Do people tell you that?
Thank you. Well, you know what? There's a lot of people that would fight you on that.
Really?
Oh God, yes. Oh, there was times. Oh my gosh, my friend. There was times when I was a producing artistic director of a theater company. I was an ass.
Yeah,
I was not a nice person. There have been large moments of my life when I was not a nice person, and large moments of my life when I was on a creative journey that I was not a nice person to myself or to the people closest to me that love me. And that's why I can recognize, and there's so many parallels in our life, and you're a younger man than I, so I really want to reach out to you and say, I'm 59, I'll be 60.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Good for you. You do not look that old.
Well, thank you. You're very kind.
I would have said you were in your late 40s. early.
you're really going to be a good friend of mine. So
Good for you.
yeah. So, but I mean, so I can recognize it, man. I can see it. I can see it in you. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Being a dad is going to change you. You're going to find yourself in a different place. Not very.
No, I'm really just expecting him to think the exact same thing about me. Everyone
No.
else.
You're going to find yourself in a very different place. It's very different. It's very different. And I know you being a husband, already you can feel like, Zach, you guys are so unbelievably kind. Thank you so much, Zach. But I think you already have started to define yourself by an outside vision looking in on you because you're a husband. This is going to multiply as being a dad. It truly changes how you see the world and yourself. Thank you, Christina.
Yeah, no, Christina does not like that. Okay, so I went. Let me tell you the story. And
Thank you,
John,
Philip.
Now we have to do this. We have to do this again because I haven't asked any. Like, I'm a terrible date. I haven't asked you anything about yourself. Like about
You're
you.
on my channel. I'm asking. Have me on your channel. You can ask me
All right,
anything
I'm doing
you
it.
want.
So we can talk because I need to know all about your theater stuff. We haven't talked about yours at all. But I went down to Orlando 2 weekends ago to get I had gotten my principal and me had gotten emailed last year that I had been nominated for, and it's a nomination, but you get the award. Like,
Stop it right now. I can already see you doing this.
No, wait.
This is going to be something important. I can already see it.
It's a fantastic story. I was nominated for a Most Valuable Teacher award by the Florida Foreign Language Association. Someone nominated me. So I went down there to accept it. My principal was very happy, and he paid for it, me to go down to the conference and get my award. So while we're down there, hanging out with some other Latin teachers, Christina. Anyway, so I'm there. Yeah. We need to. Hey, John, do you play Baldur's Gate 3? Do you want to do a Baldur's Gate 3?
There was a time in my life when I loved gaming so much, and I just feel it's started to move to the grind with these open world, and it's moved away from the narrative, which is why I was playing.
I'm just trying to rile up Jimmy.
Oh, I know. Well, he's fun to rile up.
So anyway, he riles me up all the time. So anyway, so I go, and while we're talking, the president of our classical association of Florida is sitting there talking, and it's like, yeah, FFLA doesn't have a ton of like it's poorly attended generally, and especially by Latin teachers. So what I did is I nominated all of the Latin teachers for this award so that the principals would encourage them to come down and there'd be more attendance at this thing. And I was like, really? And it was fine. And then we go to the award ceremony, like so at least I can get my thing and show my principal. The slide comes up with all the names of the people who got this. It wasn't just Latin teachers, but French and Spanish or whatever. My name's not on the slide. And then they go to the next slide, and it's all the people who got on the previous slide, and Adam Walker. And I'm like, I guess that one's supposed to be me. And then I went up with the wrong name. Didn't spell my name wrong. They gave me the wrong name. They didn't even have one to give me. So my wife was so mad, and I wasn't mad. I said, you know what, Christina? I would be mad, but I am not in any way surprised. Like, of course, everyone got nominated for this, and of course, it's the wrong name, and of course, they don't have one to give me. Why would they? And my wife is not. Christina, you want to tell them how displeased you were?
Oh, she had to be livid.
My wife is my biggest champion. She was crying.
I was very upset. I tried to get them to change the slide, but
they said they couldn't change the PowerPoint.
I think I don't know.
It's
I
whatever.
don't know.
We just don't have the technology.
Slide.
She was not happy.
Yeah.
She was very upset. Because
that is just, the thing about that is if you had written how the evening could go, Alan.
That's what I would have written.
That's what you would have written down.
Oh, for sure.
And it's just like I understand the strategy to nominate people to get them there. Like, I totally get that. But then either tell them privately ahead of time. So no one, like before you even nominate them, like, hey, I'm going to nominate you for this thing so you can get so your boss can pay for you to go. Either tell them ahead of time or don't tell them at all. Like, it just felt like it pulled the rug out from under us.
So we were sitting there in a conversation and we just tossed it out there. And Christina didn't react till later. I was like, you know what? I'm low key. You know what I'm low key disappointed at? And she's like, I know exactly what you're going to say. Because it was just in the middle of the conversation. We just kept talking and whatever. And I was like, oh, that's embarrassing. Anyway, I'm not surprised. And I was not finally at my school. Some other teacher nominated me for Teacher of the Year. It's been 11 years. I've never been nominated. It's fine. In the other teachers' vote. Of course, I was never going to win. And I never will. I never will, because I am good at what I do. Like, I do know that I am good at my job. Like, I am good at my job. Like, I am a good teacher. I am well aware of that. I do not think it matters, but I do know I'm good at it. I just sometimes wish that other people knew that. Yeah, my kids do, and I love my children, and their parents are wonderful. Like, I have kids, I teach them for 3-4 years, and so I get to know their parents because they're always going on, they're always going me to competition and stuff. So they're wonderful, but sometimes I wish my district knew that what I do is valuable. Philip. All right. So guess what? Day Raven is going through a voice change for book 2. And
gonna have a lot of voice cracking. cracking.
No, Day Raven. Hey, hello. We must go. We must get to the chopper.
Just make him sound like Peter. Make him sound like Peter Brady. It's that darn elf. Now listen, look, Alan. I don't want to keep. It's time to change. I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you're a new dad. We've almost been going for a couple hours. I want to thank you so much. And I want to tell you one more time. The importance you've meant to me when I started building my channel. Because I saw somebody that was unvarnished, unedited, passionate, genuine, family person, would share a good chunk of their life. And I was going into this with my son, so I knew that would kind of come up for me. And you were one of the people that moved me to do this. The way you do it moved me to do this. And I know people now tell me the same thing. I haven't been doing this all that long, but I've had some new people tell me the same thing. And so I know the power of that. And I really want you to hear it when I say it to you. And I know there's a through line to humanity, and you've had an impact on that through line because you are an educator and a teacher of young people, and you're teaching them the human connection, and you're making them more empathetic and more critical thinkers as they move forward into this world, and that gives us all hope. And I think that if you ever need to hear that, you only have to reach out to me, and I will tell you this every time. Because I've tried to live my life somewhat doing the same thing, and we have a lot of parallels. And you, my friend, are a very, very wealthy man indeed. And you should spend your time stacking up that currency and looking at it and feeling blessed.
But how will I, but where will I wallow?
You wallow in all that currency.
You're very eloquent, John. You're a well-spoken person. You do not talk like I do, which is good. No one.
You talk great. So look, Alan, you're going to have me on your channel because this is just the first time. I so enjoyed this. This was such a blast for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. Since Jimmy won't have me on his channel anymore because he refuses to.
Well, he's not going to change. He's absolutely not going to change that.
The squares and the regular thumbnail. What is this new Chatting with Nuts thumbnail
dude,
style?
he changes. He's. I'm telling you, he's gone.
Jimmy knows I am autistic and he cannot do this. Like he knows he cannot do what he is doing. Like
just during the episode now. Camera angles change and stuff happens.
This is naked aggression. This is an assault.
Look, it's like when you would stay home from school sick and you're watching the Mike Douglas show. That's what's going on.
Jimmy has declared open war. Anita, add Jimmy to the holy war.
Okay, did I get taken off the holy war? You have to take me off the holy war.
Oh yeah. You're off.
Okay, all right. Okay, as long as I'm off the holy war. Okay, it's like Anita, erase the name. Okay.
Yeah, she'll arrange
Alan,
correspondence.
thank you so much, my friend. Thanks everyone in the chat. You guys were amazing. I was so wrapped up learning and talking to Alan. I know I didn't get to a lot of you. You're so generous, so kind. Everyone that catches this on Team Replay, leave a comment. Thanks so much for joining us, Alan. Thank you one more time for. I'm almost positive you really had no idea who I was or what you're getting into. So I really appreciate you accepting my invitation.
Oh no, thank you so much. This was a blast. And again, like the reason I enjoy this is because of the people and the community. Like it's, and talking about books and crap. So, thanks for having me on. And I'm so sorry that we didn't talk about you at all. Like I feel so.
Dude, that's not what we were here for. Have me. Let me tell you. Have me on your channel. Ask me questions. I'll talk ad nauseum.
Cool. We're gonna talk about theater.
Yeah, I got tons of stories you wouldn't believe.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so excited.
All right, everyone. Have a great night. Be kind. Low stress and 5-star reads. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.